Newsshooter coverage of NAB 2024 is sponsored by Atomos, B&H Photo Video, and Atlas Lens Co.
I'm Eric Nason with Newsshooter.com, and we're at NAB 2024. I'm at the Fujifilm booth, but I'm not with Fujifilm right now. I'm with Mark from Old Fast Glass. How you doing, Mark?
Great, thank you.
So, I heard about this incredible camera. They're calling it a Frankenstein, but I don't know. What are you guys calling it? And you got to tell me what's going on here, because this is really cool.
Sure. So I think our company has been known for offering a lot of rehoused lenses, and this is the first time we've rehoused a camera. And I think that's kind of the proper term for it, because it's not, there's aspects of it that are a cage, but it's not a cage. It is very much like we've modified parts of the camera, we've added a lot to the camera, and it's really like a new enclosure for it, but also a new system that adds a ton of functionality for it to try to make this little mirrorless camera ready for production sets, like professional high-end cinematography production sets.
So talk to me about this little mirrorless camera that you're using. What model is it, and,
Sure.
and why did you choose this specific camera for this build out?
Great question. I don't think we would have done this for another camera. We had our eyes on what Fujifilm was doing in the medium format stills market, which there's undeniably like just some of the best medium format stills cameras available, and we saw that they were starting to get into video. And so we've had our eyes on them from the 50, the 100, and when the GFX 100 II came out, we saw the specs on the camera, we knew that this was the one that was the perfect fit for cinematography. The images coming out of the HDMI, the fact that you can get 12-bit RAW with the right recorder, and Fujifilm color science. And here we have one of the few proper cinema cameras that's giving you a medium format video that's approaching Alexa 65 in sensor size. It was a no-brainer for us, and yeah, again, we would not have done it if it wasn't for this camera.
Now, you were telling me a little while ago that it wasn't just you just stuck it in there. You actually tried to dismantle and get it in there. Talk to me about the trials and tribulations of doing
Sure.
this type of upgrades and changes to make it a cinema camera.
Sure. Yeah, we did have to make some modifications. The LCD screen actually doesn't fold the way that we need it to fold. So it's great for stills, but where we wanted to put the LCD screen was here.
Yeah.
And in order to get the LCD screen over there, we actually had to remove it from the camera, and we did permanently damage a couple of cameras in the making of this, but you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. And
right.
But we love where it is now, and so this is kind of where your camera assistant can really spend most of their time, whether it's like changing media or changing menu settings right here. The business side over here, one of the major things we added, which was a must for us, was run stop. So not only do we have just like your run stop button here, but it's more to it than that. This light isn't just telling you, hey, you hit the button. This light is triggered by the tally light on the Atomos recorder. So this is letting you know you're recording RAW. The camera has its own trigger, but it was really important for us to know that you're recording RAW. Otherwise, when this SSD fills up, if you don't have that tally light telling you, you're going to think, oh, I'm good, I'm still recording, but you're not. So we have that. Not only is there run stop here, but it has remote run stop, so you can trigger this from any Fizz system as well. And then if you need to get right back into your menus, Fujifilm was nice enough to give us a touchscreen, and you can decide what buttons you want to put here. You can do up to 16 on here, so all your basic functions you can get right into there, which is great. On this side, this is a master power switch, which turns on and off everything, so you don't have to go around and turn on the recorder, turn on. You just leave everything up. This turns on everything. Over here's our media bay. So it's the Angelbird 1 terabyte SSDs. We actually repositioned the media slot from the back of the Atomos recorder over here. Just makes it a lot easier to access. Battery plate has a lot of functionality. We have 2 HDMI ports, 1, 2, 3 SDI ports, 2 DTAP ports, 2 2-pin LEMO, 2 3-pin Fisher. We've got 4-pin XLR for AC power, block battery. Over here you get to see the recorder. So we want to make a little enclosure for the Atomos. We set it back a little bit so that it's protected. You could actually lay the camera on the side if you needed to work on it, and it's going to be protected. But we left full access to the ports on the side in case you want to plug in a headphone jack, let's say, or you could do line in if you want to attach if you want to go audio into the recorder. And occasionally you do need to get to the GFX buttons back here, so we wanted to make sure you could get in there. And we put a little strip of LED lights in there in case you're working in a dark environment, you can still see the buttons, no problem.
That's clever.
And then around the front, there are 2 more power ports in the front. We've got 3-pin Fisher here, so you can get run stop, like if you want to plug in a Aries C-Force RF motor right out of the front, which makes for a really clean build. And then we have a 2-pin LEMO here that's powering our EVF. And our rentals are mainly, 95% of our lenses are LPL or PL. So we did a stainless steel LPL mount with an LPL to PL adapter, and these are shimmed to this camera. So no matter what, easy to hot swap on set between LPL and PL. Back focus is always nice and perfect. And then if something was already existed that was great, we didn't bother reinventing it. So we're using Wooden Camera's beautiful top handle system, and we're using Aries bud system. And Aries makes some amazing shoulder pads, dovetail plates. We have 15 lightweight, 19 studio, and you can easily slide the camera back and forth on the bud system to just balance it. With no tools to do that. If you want to go to Steadicam, you just have a stabilizer plate that goes right into that. You go to Steadicam. Companies are making VCT plates for this system, so it's, again, we wanted to make this the most user-friendly camera possible, and if that meant we had to reinvent something, we were willing to do that. But if there was already something on the shelf that did it, we didn't bother wasting our time to try to improve something that's already perfect, like the handle or the base plate. What you see on the outside, we wanted to make the form factor nice. We wanted to have as much contact points as possible, but also there's a lot going on here internally. There's a fan in here. There's an additional cooling fan. So we have one fan that's the Fujifilm fan directly connected to the camera, and then we have another one here in between the recorder and the media that's just getting all that heat from recording raw out of there, and it's totally silent, can't hear it at all. It's just always on, always running. But yeah, everything here, this box, from lens mount back to the battery plate, this is all designed and built in-house. So we don't have CNC machines, but we're designing it all and getting it all farmed out. And
fantastic.
We do it.
So, how does it compare to, say, like an Alexa or something like that, weight-wise? I mean, it's probably lighter because there's really a lot more room inside of there, right?
That's a great question. Yeah, there is a lot in here, but it's not dense. What I like about that is the weight is very evenly distributed. Most people look at it and they're like, oh, that's big. Then we have a handheld set up around, and people put it on their shoulder, and most people's reaction is like, oh, this is familiar.
It's not super bad. I mean, you got a plate on there. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, there's more on there. We got the monitor on there. But it's not, I would not call it a lightweight camera, but what we were aiming for is we figured the people that are going to use this are people that are using Alexa 35, Venice 2, and that's where we are. Weight-wise, size-wise, that's where we are. And we still, you can take this out, this is your studio camera, this is your main camera, and then we can give you one of these, and you can still connect it to an Atomos recorder, put this on your gimbal, and you still have your lightweight camera, or mount a couple of these, for car mount or stuff like that.
With the other
Match
camera.
Perfectly, post-production's happy. You're not integrating different camera systems just for form factor. Everything's the same sensor, same color, same codec. So I think for when people really want to have 2 or 3 or 4 bodies of different form factors, I think that this system makes a lot of sense, and it just so happens to also be one of the largest sensors available. So.
And this is a rental options. You're not trying to, at this point, you're not putting them out there on retail. How much would it cost for someone to rent this for a week, or project-wise, or give me ballparks?
Sure. We feel in this version of it that we try to price it around what you'd rent an Alexa Mini for. So it's between $1,200 and $1,500 a day to rent this, and obviously adding these on are a lot cheaper. The price point of these are a lot cheaper. So I still think for even doing a multi-camera shoot, this is a much more affordable option than if you wanted to, say, do 4 or 5 Venice 2s or 4 or 5 Alexa 35s or something like that. So I like that we were able to get this incredible image quality and this huge sensor, but still make it affordable.
Yeah, and Fujifilm color is so great. I mean, they're really right up there. I always ask when I'm talking to the reps here that, so when are you guys going to make a cinema camera? When are you going to make a cinema camera? And it's always kind of it's always been in the back of our head, but you're going to whet people's appetite, and maybe they're going to want more from them, right?
Yeah, I think that I'm hoping we helped validate their camera, how amazing this camera is for shooting video, for cinematography.
Yes.
And because there are a lot of people that know how good Fujifilm's color science is, people are in love with this sensor. And so the fact that like we were able to put it into a body style that is really ready for professional sets, I think it's just going to help legitimize this camera in general. And yeah, hopefully draw more people to it and put a little more pressure on Fujifilm, and maybe we will see in a few years they'll do their own like proper cinema camera.
And how many do you have right now that are available for rental, and what's the goal?
So we have 2 available for rental. The 2 that are here, as soon as we get back, those are going to be on the out for rentals. But we just completed these. This is a very new project. We were putting these together last week before we got here, and so the first 2 are done. And we're going to feel it out a little bit, but we're definitely going to build more. And if the demand is there, we'll see where it takes us. You know.
And what's the official name of this beast?
It is the OFG Custom 65.
Here it is. Thank you for sharing, Mark. It's really fun stuff.
Of course. Happy
Have a
to do
great
it.
show.
Thank you.